Hello, and thanks for joining us. So, I'll start with the disclaimer here, and hopefully, we have someone cool read it for us one day. But for now, I guess I'll just read it and then we'll use this clip. Chill the hell out. We're people, like you, trying to figure out this thing called life. Let's try to balance asking big questions with humility and respect, and let's take casual debates way too seriously. We're not pretending to be experts or professionals of anything, besides maybe some professional goofballs. Don't take our word for gospel, although we're going to talk about that too. We're going to poke some bears. If that makes you tight, crack open a cold one and loosen up. Love y'all. So, Zay, you want to just introduce yourself to the listeners? Let them know a little bit about you, what they're gonna have in store.
Yo, my name's Zay, the chill one. I'm probably the chill out of the hell out. Probably that person. I'm the chill one. Uh, yeah, very, very, very intro, new to everything. Just here to gain a better perspective. Probably relate to most of the people who are listening in. Just overall, like you said, don't take everything we're saying too serious. We just here to have a little bit of fellowship and to get everybody to open up, calm down, and chill the hell out. That's pretty much it.
Tell them about you, bro. Where'd you grow up? Where you uh where you born?
I was born in South Carolina, Walterboro. I don't know if anybody know that. It's nothing to know out there. It's terrible. We're not gonna talk about it. Uh, Went to Baltimore for a couple years of my life. Diehard Ravens fan. Don't talk trash about them. I'll crash out. Uh,
Thought
Been
you said
flip
you were the chill
flopping.
one.
Okay, okay, all right. But been back and forth between those two states all my life. Grew up in a church household between my mom and my dad. Been to multiple different churches, multiple different environments, seeing everything there is to offer about Christianity from Baptist, Pentecostal, Orthodox, Lutheran, a little bit of Catholic, seeing everything there is to as far as Christian is concerned in all aspects of Christianity. So, yeah, that's pretty much all it is to know about me. Chilling.
What about sports? You play any sports growing up?
Uh, I would love to say I was good at football, but played basketball in middle school. It's pretty terrible. Not gonna talk
Yeah,
about that.
I was pretty bad at basketball.
Yeah, I was one of those people who would just play really good defense to get the rebound.
That was me
Yeah, yeah.
boxing out, getting the
I was,
rebound, playing
I was a
defense. That was about
lockdown
it.
defender though. Lockdown defender. Nobody scoring on me. I was one of those football players that tried to play basketball, but played linebacker, defensive end in high school. Got moved up to varsity in 10th grade and broke my hand. So I don't care what nobody say. I was still varsity for about 5 minutes though, so nobody can play with me. But yeah, that's my sport
All
background.
5 minutes. No, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding. Um, yeah. So I mean, my name is Bryce. I'm 31 years old. I have a beautiful wife and a beautiful son. He is 15 months old, and they are my entire life. And I'm just so blessed and thankful to have them. Um, Grew up as a military brat. Dad did 4 years in the Air Force, 20 years in the Coast Guard. So lived a little bit of everywhere, known a little bit of all kinds of people. I was born in, no, I won't bore you guys with the list of everywhere I lived in. etc. But born in Jersey, spent a majority of the not the majority of my time. I spent the longest period of time living in South Carolina. That's where I met Zay. Zay and I used to work together at T-Mobile, and then wife and I decided that moving to Connecticut was best for the family. Be here close to her family. She dearly miss them, so getting very acquainted with her family, and it's a beautiful thing. Um, I played football growing up and did a little bit of all sports. Tried wrestling. Um, Wilhelm, my buddy who joining us possibly here soon. If not, then you guys will catch him on the next podcast. But did wrestling for about a week or 2 weeks. Did a tournament or two, but Wilhelm threw me in a fireman carry or throwdown or takedown or whatever they call it. Threw me over his shoulder and made me feel like a ragmuffin. And didn't really like that too much, and didn't really see all that interested in wrestling. So stuck to football. Played rugby as well. A little bit of basketball, a little bit of baseball. Just those two didn't really stick with me. Football was my big MO. So as you guys heard, football is my big MO. Zay really enjoys football. We're gonna have some passionate debates about football and quarterbacks and NFL and things going on this year once the seasons get fired up. I'm trying to get Zay into college football. He thinks he's a Carolina fan, but we'll see how long that lasts. Um, it's hard. It's tough being a Carolina fan. So yeah, um, just the podcast. So what this is going to be is just us talking about serious things that I feel like, people in today's society have such a hard time debating or discussing, and we're gonna try to do our best to look at it critically from both sides with an understanding that, everyone has thoughts and opinions, and you should never think that everyone should abide by your way because, I mean, you don't want anybody telling you that you need to abide by theirs. So I think that it's important for us with everything crazy going on in the world now to just sit back, take a deep breath, and have those hard conversations that people are so worried to have nowadays. Fear of losing friends, losing family, losing people you love and care about. And, hopefully hopefully we can talk about those things and help people understand and maybe help people approach things in their lives or that they want to talk about and want to address and can't really get off their chests around people and stuff like that. So, you know, just journeying through life, and I just felt the need to put that out there and try to spread a little love and a little bit of humility. Not saying that I'm the most humble or most loving in the world, but you know, I'm trying to be the. I believe Gandhi said, "Be the change you want to see in the world," and that's kind of where I'm at. So I'm going to be the change, and hopefully I inspire some of y'all to have those conversations or listen to other people that have opposing views as you. Like that's a clear invitation right there in and of itself. And yeah. So say I know you've been dying to tell me about some NFL news. You've been trying to get it at me, but I've just been so busy with everything going on. So I know you wanted to talk about this Jalen Ramsey, Minka Fitzpatrick trade for a little while, but I'm not that worried about it. The Dolphins had decent safeties in the past. I'm more worried about a safety being able to lock down our more. I mean, what's Josh Allen's record against the Dolphins? First of all, like 9-1 or something like that.
A
I'm,
lot to
I'm
absorb.
Yeah, I'm not stressing the Dolphins. I mean, I like Tua. I hope the Dolphins do well, but I'm not stressing. I'm more worried about you seeing your Steelers, your arch enemies, get a high caliber corner. I mean, he's getting a little older now, right?
31.
31. Is that old for a corner?
I mean, it's not young. I would say it's up there, yeah, for the
What about
most
Marlon
part.
Humphrey? How old's that guy?
I think he's 29.
29. Yeah, I thought he
Very
was old.
old.
He looks old.
He looks old.
Marlon Humphrey? Maybe I'm just comparing him to all the young faces in the league. But yeah, he's definitely a veteran.
I would say Marlon is glowing with youth. I don't think
Uh,
he looks older. But then again, I'm a Ravens Blazer, so. But
Any other news going on? Any other things happening?
nothing. I mean, the Minka Fitzpatrick Steelers trade with the Dolphins. We already spoke on that. Yeah, there's nothing really crazy going on in the offseason right now. We already know about Alexander going to the Ravens. Nothing crazy. I mean, yeah, it's that point in the off season where they start talking about stuff that's completely irrelevant that has nothing to do with nothing. So it's nothing really on the NFL side that we can get into right now.
All right, what you got going on in your life right now? You just started getting enrolled in classes, right?
Yes, sir. I'm currently trying to become a radiology technician, so a rad
A
tech.
what?
A radiology technician, so a rad tech for short.
I'll say that one more time.
Radiology
It's
technician.
just it's just radiology.
That's what I'm saying. Radiology.
No, radiology, bro.
No, bro,
There's only one O. It's not radiology.
they
You
have the
sound
word
like you sound like radio right now.
RADIO, radiology. OL.
Radiology. Radiology.
But you forgetting the radio. You saying radi. You forgetting the O. Radio.
It's just radiation.
Radiation doesn't have an
No,
O
it's
in it.
not short for radio, bro. It's short for radiation.
So why they spell it
Radiology.
with an O in it?
Ology,
Bryce, I'm
like
right about this, bro.
Scientologists and biologists. And what else? Proctologists, ologist,
But
ologist, radiologist.
you're saying radiologist, right?
Yeah, radiologist, not
So
radiologist.
where did the O go? Is the O silent?
Radiologist,
Is the O silent?
ologist, radiologist, ologist, bro. No, it's
So
not silent. Ologist,
so why you not
ologist.
saying it if it's not silent?
I am saying it. Ologist, radiologist.
Oh dang. For my first pot. Dang. That's crazy, bro. And we can edit this out, right? Just edit it right. You gonna edit this.
No, man, this is rolling, bro. All
Okay.
live.
Okay. All right, you
But
got
all
it.
right, that's sweet though. That's cool. All right, first lesson on radiology is the pronunciation.
That's a good start. That's a great
That's a
start.
good start. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, that's a good career to go into though.
Yeah.
Is
All
that
I gotta do.
you're going to TCL?
Yeah. It's a 2-year program. All I gotta do is go through that, do some clinicals, so be in person. I already shadowed to watch everybody else do it. It's a very, very chill job, very cool job, very high paying too. So
Yeah.
I'm very excited about that. Give me a lot of time to do other things while, because not everybody need an X-ray every day. So it gives me time to do a lot of other things. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, so Quentin just got he wants to go back to school for Quinn's another one of our buddies, but I was just talking to Quinn. He wants to go back to school for criminal or cybersecurity. But I was telling him, I don't want to get too conspiracy theory too quick on y'all, but just AI is growing so rapidly. I just feel like cybersecurity. I feel like that's one that AI could so easily take over so soon. Do you feel like radiology might be the same? What do you know about it? Hey,
What's up, y'all?
what's going on, Wilhelm?
What's good, man?
Everybody.
My video was cutting in and out, like it was very, very choppy. So
That's
I
all
just
good.
decided to go full audio instead
Okay.
of
I-
video and audio.
I'm
But
here
I'll
for
pop
it.
in and say, hey, if it, I'll just freeze here for a second and see if it catches up to my face.
If not, I'll just turn video off. I don't mind just talking in. I think that makes more sense too.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what
I
I'm
think
doing.
my thing's completely frozen here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and cut it
Okay.
back off. But
What's up, y'all? Sorry
yeah.
I was interrupting. I feel like you were going somewhere with that. And then also, what's up, Z? What's going on?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good, bro. Where you at right now?
I'm in Carolina right now.
Nice. How's the weather down there? Is north or south?
South, and the weather's terrible. We just got to do with a terrible rainstorm.
Terrible rainstorm, so it's not like hot and humid out.
Oh, it's hot. It's hot and rain at the same time. The worst combination of all time.
Oh man, yeah, the humidity. I get for the first time ever. I can't say the same here in Wisconsin. The weather's like actually finally nice, man. You know, I can't do the heat down there though, man. I can't do the heat. I can't take it. I can't. So I commend you either way. For sticking it out.
Hot and wet.
You get
Cold.
used to it
Terrible.
eventually. You get used to it. At
I
least
ain't
I
used
do.
to it.
I got used to it.
I'm not used to it. I don't know what you're talking
So what are you
But
guys
yeah,
talking
Wilhelm.
about?
So,
What's
oh, yeah,
up?
so we were just talking about Zay. So we were just kind of talking a little bit about ourselves, introducing ourselves, since this is the first episode of the podcast. And
Hmm.
I was talking to Zay about he's going back to school for radiology, and I didn't want to get too conspiracy theory. But another one of our friends wants to go back to school for cybersecurity, and I said that I feel like cybersecurity is one of those fields that like I could see like an AI dominance, just like AI taking over and completely running here in a couple of years. So
If it's not
I was
already
asking,
running it right now.
yeah, no, for sure. But I was like, I wonder if radiology is one of those fields where AI is going to have, in 4 or 5 years, the how quickly it's progressing. If that's going to be a field that, you're competing with AI versus something that manually has to be done.
For sure. Yeah. Well, like what is it?
about.
Like
But
radiology, you're taking like people's X-rays, right?
Yeah.
So
I find it like
yeah, go
yeah, I
ahead.
find it kind of hard to like picture where AI can take over something like that. That would be something to where you would have to put them inside the machine and they scan your whole entire body physically. Like you have to push the mower for it to scan your whole body. And after that, analyze the picture. The analyze part, I think AI can do something like that, but at the same exact time, it'll be harder for AI to do it versus a human eye. So I don't think I think this space is safe for a long time. I don't think it'll be taken over anytime soon.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. That's probably fair. But
Right.
Wilhelm, when we were giving the little bit of background on us, I was telling everyone that one of the things, like all the sports that I did and played and everything, and how I went out for wrestling there for about 2 weeks, and you threw me in a fireman carry or fireman toss or whatever, and threw me over your
Oh
shoulder
yeah.
like a ragamuffin, and I was just like, yeah, screw this, it's not for me.
Hit you with the classic fireman's, man. My specialty.
Yeah, it was.
My
You
one
were
and done, dude. My one and done. Yeah, I mean,
you're crispy with that.
I'm sorry that I had to do that because I wish you would have stuck around. I think you would have liked it, or maybe not. I don't know. Getting all sweaty with a bunch of dudes and rolling around on a mat.
Yeah, I didn't mind football.
Yeah.
But as hard as I worked during football and going 110% every day in practice, um, Just I didn't want to carry that over from the fall to the winter and then go busting my butt out in the hot summer
Mhm.
days in football and then
Yeah,
all fall long and then rolling into a hot, clammy, sweaty gym with a bunch of guys. I was like,
real.
I
Yeah,
think I think I'm gonna take my winters off and then go back to rugby in the spring.
I was about to say, what
So
did you do in the springtime? Was it rugby?
yeah, yeah, rugby. I played
Okay.
rugby, and then
Which I find,
but
I
yeah,
still to this day find so unique that Nicolay D1 high school had like the worst football team for decades, but yet has like state champion rugby team. You know,
you know
I don't know. Is it
I,
just different? Is it just different?
what I think it I really what I think it comes down to is coaching.
Mhm.
No offense to any of the coaches that I've had. I love Coach Summers. He was a
Oh
great
yeah,
guy, great coach.
yeah.
Coach Wilson. Um,
Oh, I forgot about him. Yeah,
yeah, very hard on me at times, but I
well, you got to be. Yeah,
I needed it. I deserved it, and yeah, you got to be. But as far as definitely our senior year, I feel like the personnel that we had wasn't the type of personnel that you'd want to run a wing T triple option type offense and just 3 yards and a cloud of dust kind of offense. Like we had the personnel where we needed to spread the field out. We had Capel was one of the fastest guys in the state.
yeah,
Alex, when I mean, I just our sophomore year, I just threw up like fades to him all day, and we put up 46, 47 points every game. Um,
yeah. He was a tall dude.
and
He was a tall dude.
yeah, he was. And you had Alex Baez. He was fast as heck. We had some really fast players, and I feel like we did not utilize the width of the field like we should have that senior season. And I think that that's what we did so well, or when we played JV together, was we utilized the entire field. We hit the edges, we hit hitches and fades, and just marched the ball down. Triple option read, or not triple option, but speed options, read options, just ate up the space and made people play us in the space, and we had personnel to take advantage of it. But and I mean that showed on the rugby field. I mean Tyler Crass was if he got into space, like ain't nobody tackling Tyler or Hunter, or you got DeAndre crashing down inside center, like me kicking it out to whoever.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
rugby, like we were able to utilize that space and just kick it out and move the ball sideline to sideline, and we tried some triple option. We're gonna run it right down your throats, and we did not have the personnel to compete with Cedarburg and Homestead in that way. But
For real.
it
Yeah,
is what it is. But that's where I
yeah.
think the disconnect was.
I think it's a curse. I think there's a
That
curse
too.
on Nicolay, man. I don't know. Apparently, it's been around for decades. It's just like they're just like not set out to be good at football. Who knows what
No,
happened in
dude,
those halls, man? I don't know. In
dude,
those
did
back
you
rooms.
hear that they made it to the playoffs a couple years ago?
Yeah, like against what? Like a couple of homeschool teams and some like homeschool Christian kids.
No, man, don't hate
I'm
on
not
them,
hating, man.
bro.
I'm not hating. I'm just speaking the truth. But what's up?
I don't know. I don't know if they're still in the same conference or not.
I don't think they
I've
are.
been
I think they're in like a totally different division. I think they like rearranged it. I've been totally removed from a lot of it, but from last I
yeah,
heard, it was just like I think they're just in a completely different division. I don't
yeah.
even think they're like playing Homestead or Cedarburg and them, but I could be wrong. I know that they did just like renovate the whole space. Like they always went hard on tennis,
Yes.
so like they just like they moved all their fields right to the north platform. They're like right. You know how like they used to have to cross the freeway to get to it.
Yes.
They moved it all. They like demolished that house on the north end and like put all these like tiered tennis courts in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty epic. I feel like millions of dollars have gone into renovating the sports program there. Um, so yeah, I don't know how they're really doing on football. See, I guess I'll like dial in with that come fall. See, maybe
Still
I'll
there?
stop over and see what's going on. But
Yeah, we may be having a little
and the same
technical
with wrestling
difficulties with
too. I don't know. I mean, wrestling
Wilhelm's
is just
audio
like kind
right
of a
now.
unique sport,
Oh,
you know.
there he is. You cut out there for a minute.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just saying like wrestling is was just like a unique sport. You know, it's just like all the other sports there. I guess what I liked about wrestling, it was just really it came down to it's a team sport, but it came down ultimately to like the individual, you
Oh,
know, just like
absolutely.
how the
Yeah.
individual like. So in many ways, like it was kind of like a spiritual quest. I was really just fighting myself and um and wrestling with myself to overcome, which I think I found more difficult to reach that type of catharsis doing football. You know, there were just like so many other energies going on, and also with football, like I didn't really know what I was doing too. Like I never really had any serious like formal training
Yeah.
or anything with it. I feel like you were more raised in football. Like I feel like you kind of came into Nicolay with like a pretty solid background in doing football. Is that in that right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I played since I was 7 years old down in South Tampa with the Seahawks. And
Seahawks.
yeah, I actually my dad was a really good baseball player, and
Yeah.
my mom was a cheerleader, so my sister was doing cheer down in South Tampa when we
Yeah.
lived there, and
Epic.
went out to watch my sister at cheer practice, and I look over and I see all these kids my age hitting each other and chasing each other and tackling each other, and I was like, Dad, I want to do that. My dad's like, no, yeah, and I was a runt. I hit a growth spurt there my
Still
in
there.
between my freshman and sophomore year. So when I got to Nicolay,
Bryce.
I, I was tiny my freshman year, but
Bryce.
by yes,
You still there? Kind of cut out
yeah.
for a
Can you
minute.
hear me?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
Zay, did I cut out for you too?
Nah.
Okay, yeah, you might just be having a little audio
Yeah.
issues. Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
I
I
just
mean,
kind of
I
had
just
to.
definitely grew up football, played it my whole life, love football. Just I I would say that football found me more than I found football. My dad didn't really. My dad played football growing up, but he was big into baseball. He wanted raising me to be a pitcher, throwing balls and hitting balls at 2 years old and stuff like that. But when I saw those guys running around chasing each other, I was like, that's what I want to do. And my dad double looked and he's like, what? And I was like, yep, that's what I want to do. So fell in love with it the moment I saw it and haven't looked back. But yeah, man, you were definitely a elite wrestler. Didn't you go to state, or am I mistaken?
I did. Yeah. Barely. I barely made it to state, but that was my goal, man. That was my goal.
Hey,
You
that's
know.
quite an accomplishment. Whether you barely made it or
Pretty much barely. It was actually talk about the whole spiritual quest thing. It's like so you remember Gus, right?
yes,
Gus was our coach, and he always made us every year. He made us write out our goal sheets, and we would have to post them in the wrestling room. And this might resonate with some people, but it was the goal sheet had like the SMART acronym. So like I don't really recall the details, but like SMART I think stood for like specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and then like the time frame of it. It's like something like that. And
okay,
so we had to we had to chisel out these goals. And come senior year, I was sick of getting my butt kicked. I was sick of getting my butt kicked. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make it to state. And I seen all these other wrestlers go to state, like Bobby Herrick and Dakota and
yeah,
Chris Morrell and all these other wrestlers that we were all blood, sweat, and tears up in the wrestling room. And that's coming back to what I had said about it being a team sport, but and also an individual sport, because we kind of had such a small wrestling team throughout the years. Uh, it was the vibe was more of like an individualistic thing. Like we never really filled out a full team. when I was there. So like we always struggled in the team events, but at the same time we always had these token wrestlers who kind of carried the torch and carried it forward. So come senior year, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna dig deep and I want to go to state. Like I just want to. Granted, I was in a very competitive weight class. I was in the 160 weight class, and but we had a good crew. I mean, John McKay was there. We had Keandre, and
Yep.
going up to it though, we actually for several months.
Lamont as well.
Oh yeah, that's right. How could I forget Lamont, man? But the thing with Lamont though is like it's not that his heart wasn't into it, but it just like he wasn't it wasn't he was almost just like kind of like there, but like he didn't really know why he was there. Just like he
Yeah.
like he had to be there, but it was just like the sad thing about Lamont is he didn't realize how incredible of a wrestler he was until like the end of senior year.
Yeah.
And that's, obviously that just kind of sucks, But then he went into the Marine Corps, so he kind of took all that steam and went into the Marine Corps. And to this day, he's like, dude, boot camp was nothing compared to high school practices and
Yeah.
everything that we did. So that still kind of sticks with me to this day. But anyways, yeah, going to state. So I went into the wrestling room and I painted this huge mural on the wall of like the state of Wisconsin with a star on Madison and a little road going to state from Milwaukee. And I painted "This is your warrior path," and the paint was all dripping and it kind of looked like blood. It was like super cool, and
Oh, hell yeah.
it was up there for several years. I think they kind of going in line with how they revamped the whole sports area. It was up there for like over a decade, and then Gus had like he would put all the names of the people who went to state on it post facto. But yeah, man, it was so like the wrestling thing was definitely a spiritual thing. It forced me to like find balance. I had to like break up with a girlfriend at the time. I had to like stop smoking weed so much. Like I had to
Yeah.
really just dial in because I smoked a lot of weed, man. I smoked a lot of weed in high school. I was all mixed in with all the different groups. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so
You
like
were.
it was just I really had to find my priorities. And granted, so yeah, I made it to state, but I was basically like the 16th seed out of 16, so I was like the last seed. You know what I mean?
Hey.
So like my first match at state, I got like my ass kicked by the guy who like won state because like they put
Yeah.
the best with the worst. So it is what it is, man. It was more of just like I want to go to state,
Hey, you conquered your goal, man.
It is
Your goal was to make it to state, and you were sick of getting your ass beat, and you made it, man. That's awesome. And
honestly, and that's what it's all about, man. And like, that type of shit carries through life too, as well. Like, I often think back, like, if I didn't succeed in that goal, like, how my life would be different. Um, in ways of like, I've just kind of had like beliefs and things that should work out, where many other people would look at them and be like, oh, this shouldn't work out. But I'm like, no, man, we can do this. We can dig deep. We can dig deep and pull it out and make it happen, so like, yeah. So you bring up a good point, and thank you.
yeah, that warrior mentality, man. Like
Yeah.
no matter, you never give up.
Hmm.
I don't know, it sounds corny, but
It is,
that's
but
exactly what it
yeah,
is. I mean, that warrior mentality will get you through some of the most difficult challenges and
trials and
obstacles that you ever
tribulations.
face.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And I mean, I think that everyone has their own, thing, their own niche where that warrior mentality applies. And mine was definitely football. Like,
Yeah.
and and I wanted to. I was so competitive, and I saw football as a way where I can compete with 10 other people on the field and also try to make them better while I'm competing with them. And that's how I saw. Like I wanted to build up the guys around me as much as I wanted to win.
Yeah.
And that was how I approached football. And I mean, that's why I practiced so hard. And I remember doing special teams, and when my brother was over on the JV team,
Yeah.
um, and we were doing special teams. And I just remember we were kicking off, and my brother, the JV team was receiving. We were just running through, and it was just like half speed shells kind of thing. And I was looking for somebody to try to hit and light up, and I found my brother, and my brother saw me, and he went and ducked the other way. And I was just like, I had that warrior mentality all the time, and it wasn't. I didn't have it like, oh, I'm gonna hurt this person or something like that. It was just like, I was competing on every single, and I did it to like make my brother better and make him, try to. Sounds toxic masculine, but to make him stronger, make him tougher, and you know.
I know. I mean, on one hand,
Um,
I'm like, sounds like you were picking on your brother, bro.
yeah, I know, right? Like, damn, I know. I was a jerk to my brother in high school.
Yeah.
I was a jerk to a lot of people. I was an asshole, but
No, I
you
really
know,
remember you getting super fiery, man, on the field. Like, I can't really like list a specific time, but it's like
yeah,
hearing you talk about it and just like kind of remembering back where like I just remember I feel like I remember just seeing like disappointment on your face once of just like we just like weren't doing it, or like shit wasn't working out and you're just like, "Come on, guys," like,
yeah,
"Let's go."
yeah. I was fiery.
I
That's for
know, man.
sure.
For real.
So, where's your life led you after state? Like, what are some of those obstacles and stuff? If you want to talk about them,
Oh
if you
yeah,
don't have to,
man.
man. But
I could get into it. I can get into it. It's been a rough road, man. I mean, it's like definitely 'cause like right, so I was all hot and heavy like right out of high school, and I had this big old like fat um engineering scholarship, and and then I went to MSOE. I don't know if you know what MSOE is, but it's
yeah,
like it's like a pretty well known like engineering school here in Milwaukee, and I went there and basically fell flat on my face within like the first like 3 months, and ended up dropping out and just like totally having to reevaluate my life and what I got. Basically, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and then like all those toxic friendships that I had in high school also reared its ugly head, and I ended up getting kind of caught up in a bunch of drama bullshit. I ended up like catching a OWI pretty young and trying to help out these friends that were really just not friends at all. And
yeah,
so I ultimately what it forced me to do is like go completely rogue and go like really off grid, which basically plunged me into like a several year period of like utter darkness and self exploration that in fact took me about, I would say, probably 7 years to come out of completely. And I would even say to this day, to this very week, it's like I feel now like a fully formed and functioning person, but it took well into my 20s to reorient and reground myself. And all the while, I was still just battling with myself, battling with addictions and battling with low self-esteem and battling with all number of things. But also, meanwhile, being like a completely functional member of society too, as
right,
well. So it's like
absolutely,
everyone's like on their own different path. But I was like really in a dark place, and yeah, I would not have gotten out of it without the help of some really powerful, intimate relationship with women that also ended catastrophically in some regard. But also, like, if it weren't for them, they to have helped me pull me out of my darkness. Um, you know, so all in to say, I mean, that's just more on like the emotional front, but also, I like, I rebounded from engineering school and got an associate's degree at a community college in basically like the water field, and I've actually have had a very successful career in the water treatment industry, which is a very niche and very profitable industry. But I definitely have had to fight and struggle for that because a lot of
that
it is.
AI is gonna take over real soon. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, what's that? What's that?
I said that AI is gonna take
No,
over before we know it. Dang
no, dude.
AI.
Yeah, no. It's funny. It's funny you brought that up because I'm the one joking on the job site too. With like I'm joking with the engineers and like my general manager. I'm like we were all standing around once. I'm like, all right, guys, whose job is first gonna get taken over by AI? And the engineer was like the first one to be like, yeah, it's gonna be my job because like I'm over here. I'm more on the shop floor. I'm basically
Yeah,
like a pipe fitter, like building these systems from the ground up. Like where I'm talking like huge systems, like big systems, like 20 feet high by
yeah,
20, 40 feet long, depending the system. Yeah, anything in that range. So like big old pipes, like 6-inch pipe, down to 2-inch, 1-inch, whatever. But but it's like no, dude, AI can't do what I do right now.
yeah,
It's like
yeah.
the funny like manual blue collar stuff, but it's also like it's funny because like I had this feeling when I went to engineering school. I'm like this is not for me, dude. Like I just don't see this like
Right.
fitting in, and it's also like to double back on that whole point a little deeper to go a little deeper into like the leaving of the engineering school, which was a difficult decision in a way because I thought I was sacrificing my future, but where I turned my goals, if you will, where I turned my goals at the time was actually to be self-sufficient and self-reliant, and to be ultimately be completely off grid. And I and though I what ended up happening is those goals became unconsciously embedded in my life, and I've been ever so slowly moving towards them. It has been a much slower journey than I initially anticipated, but due to the wrestling and realizing that things don't just magically turn around after one match, it takes years. And in this case, in terms of a life or one's life, it takes decades to actually achieve certain goals that one lays out for themselves. And ultimately, my goal is to be like self-sufficient and off-grid and sovereign. And this brings up the spirituality thing, and also like and sovereign in Christ and all these type of topics. Ultimately that
Yeah,
we'll get into. But
absolutely.
this idea of sovereignty and self-reliance is really what forced me to dig very deep into real like figuring out. So a lot of my background journey has actually been in the shadows. Uh, it's been engineering systems and having gross failures and blowing engines and ruining equipment in hopes of in trial running systems to build and working with things and losing a lot of money and blah 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 blah, but also like learning so much and gaining so much experience to the point now where it's like all I really want is a piece of property to get off grid and do it up, you know. So
Absolutely.
I think I'll leave it at that for right now, and
No.
open the floor up to others, to keep it going.
Yeah, I
And or
mean,
if you
that's
want
a
to share where you're at with it too, because I mean, I'm looking at you and it's like you have a kid, man. I mean, you're just like,
yeah.
you're out here on a whole nother journey too as well.
Oh, absolutely. And I just want to say, like, yeah, man, I think everything happens for a reason. And I have a very similar situation. I mean, I'm sure you can attest to how straight edge I was in high school.
You were pretty straight edge. Should we ever smoke weed together?
Nope.
Not that it matters. I'm just like
No.
I don't recall.
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was straight edge in high school, and I think that I remember drinking one time, and it was before we had rugby tryouts for the Wisconsin Rugby Selects,
Yeah.
and I was sick. Bernard had to drive me home, and and then I smoked one time as well with it was John, Bernard, and Keandre and Sam Frankenthal. We were at Sam Frankenthal's house,
Yeah.
and Man, that was a trip though. That was awesome.
I bet,
When
dude.
I smoked and I thought I was having a heart attack and like I started tripping them out because I was freaking out and I'm just like, I can feel my heartbeat. I'm gonna have a heart attack. And then
Yeah,
I started giving myself anxiety and they're like, bro,
yeah.
calm down. And I'm like,
Like,
no, like
chill out,
I
bro.
can
Take
feel
another
my
hit,
heart
man.
right now. And they're like, dude, relax. And I'm like, no, man, this isn't good. So I just go to sleep. And I was like, all right. So went, laid down. Took a little nap, woke back up, came down, scared the crap out of them because they're all outside.
Yeah,
And yeah, I just remember running around Sam Frankenthal's yard doing like push-ups, and then went inside and went down to his movie theater. We watched oh, what was the movie? It was like it was a brutal movie.
Django.
No, no, it was like two rival clans in this village. I want to say like West Side Story, but obviously that's not it.
Yeah,
It was like an older movie where just like two. It was just, maybe it was Gangs in New York.
yeah. I don't know.
I
Not
think that
ringing the bell. Not ringing the bell, but
I think it was like Gangs in New York. But yeah, just sat down there, had some steak, had some good food, and watched Gangs in New York and just chilled out. And it was fun. It was fun, but I never did it again in high school. But then yeah, so went to college and I started exploring myself in college and I did not have a very productive freshman year.
yeah.
Wasted a lot of money and then ended up going home for the summer and just felt this tension that I wasn't making the right choices and that I needed to start making better choices and that obviously where I wasn't healthy for me, spiritually, mentally, anything. So ended up transferring to Charleston Southern,
Okay.
and go figure by my stupidity of being a 19-year-old male, I start making the same exact choices there. Get involved in the same kind of crowd, start,
Yeah.
smoking weed, doing stuff like that, and you know, once again, did not find myself being very productive at all, and then decided that it was best for me to drop out of college and kind of figure my life out. And
Yeah. That's always
took
rough.
some different paths, took some different journeys, and made some different choices. And some of them worked out nice, some of them didn't work out too great. Um, Ultimately, about bounced from job to job, and then 5 or 6 years ago, I found a job at 6 years ago. I started working at Sprint, and I just I liked it. I was helping people save money and making money in the process, so it was a win-win. Shortly before Sprint, I was working as a car salesman actually, and wasn't really for me. I didn't like it, wasn't my vibe. So then
What type of
started working at
salesman?
Sprint car,
What's that?
a car salesman.
Oh, a
Do
car
you
sale.
sell cars?
I thought you said a bar salesman. Oh,
Oh no,
yeah.
sorry. No,
I was
sorry.
like, what the? Wait,
I'll
what?
take out
Okay.
my velos. But yeah,
Yeah.
car salesman didn't really vibe with me. So went started working at Sprint. Um, Found a lot of success in that, and then Sprint ended up getting bought out by T-Mobile. Worked my way up, took over the store manager. That's how I met Zay here.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, okay. Right on. Right on.
and yeah, as I was the store manager, you know, heartbreaks and breakups and everything led me to meeting my wife now and
Very good.
having a beautiful son. I mean, I was listening to Garth Brooks the other day. I downloaded an album off online, and he has a song. It's called "Unanswered Prayers," and basically he goes back to his high school or goes to his son's high school football game, and he ends up bumping into his high school sweetheart at his kid's football game, and he just like he starts singing about how he used to pray to God that God would like make that woman his wife and that was the one, and he knew it, and he prayed to God like I would do anything, like just make this woman my life or my wife. And then ultimately he realizes that because of those unanswered prayers, and he was so heartbroken over it in the moment, like, oh my gosh, this sucks, this is the end of my life, like this sucks, like that's my love, I love her, like it led him to his wife and his kid now, which was like the ultimate prayer that he ever could have had. And so it's kind of like, yeah, God's plan's bigger than yours kind of thing. And I was just like,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's
How
kind of, I
how did
mean,
y'all?
everything lined up and I am where I am now because of God's plan. And I feel the same for you. I mean,
Mhm.
we've definitely been through our crap and had our fair share of
Dude,
mess
man,
ups, and
the 20s were rough, bro. The 20s were
they
rough.
were
I mean, like
they were
I don't know. I spent a lot of time alone, to be honest with you, in my 20s. I feel like I'm kind of living life on backwards. Like I feel like I took a good chunk of my 20s to do like a lot of serious internal research and work. And then but now I'm like kind of like in a phase where like I still don't really want to see people. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, but then also
You're a
like
grumpy old man,
I know,
30
right?
years
It's
old,
like
31 years old.
I know, right? Fuck, man. But yeah, I don't, yeah, man. But I do resonate with what you're saying. Like, it's all in like divine order. You know, when I'm sitting here like by myself thinking about it, it's like I don't regret anything, or if anything, I don't regret much. You know, like I've made very specific choices at very specific times. I really did my best to trust my intuition. You know, and like yeah, I made some bad choices along the way, but it's also like you live and you learn, dude. You live and you learn, and it's like
Yeah, absolutely.
it's just like you got to trial run some things, and I'm actually in a huge phase right now where I'm kind of just like totally reevaluating my life and my values and what I stand for, or what I stand on, if I even have two legs to stand on, and
Yeah, absolutely.
just like because yeah, I've been thinking more about what it'd be like to have kids. I've been thinking more about what it would be like to have a very solid, secure, stable relationship. What it would be like to have land, to grow a family, and like
Absolutely.
how I would want to raise my kids and things like this. So it's like yeah, and it takes a whole lot of reevaluation, because I think there has been an incredible amount of spiritual warfare that has gone on with our generation in specific, but also just everybody en masse, you know.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. So, real quick, I just want to put a little stick it note in that, because I definitely want to come back to that,
yeah, yeah,
and really dive into the spiritual warfare because I mean, dude, that's something I see so prevalently in modern days.
yeah.
But I just want to say for those of y'all listening, we're not condemning weed smokers and saying that you guys are toxic. Just
Well, most
and
of you
I
are.
mean, no, no, no.
No,
But all I'm saying, it wasn't for me. Like I tried it, gave me terrible anxiety, and I ended up doing Xanax to cope with the anxiety I got from smoking weed because I wanted to fit in and smoke it. But I was just smoking it to fit in, not because it gave me, you know, any sort of like comfortability mentally or spiritually or like calm my anxiety or stress. Like I get weed has benefits in that, people use it for, their medicinal reasons and everything. I'm not condemning you if you out there and you smoke weed or anything like that. It's just it wasn't for me. I'm just talking about my experiences and everyone's experience is different. So for those of y'all listening, not trying to point fingers or say y'all are Satan or evil or nothing like that. All I'm saying is that it wasn't for me. But
yeah, of course.
Zay, what you got anything to say? You've been quiet over there. You still listening? You still here? You fall asleep on me?
No, I'm still listening. I'm just listening to y'all catch up and everything. But yeah, I have my own experiences with weed. Actually, I talked to you about it. You made me feel the best about it. I'm glad that y'all spoke on anxiety and how that makes you feel smoking weed and trying to fit in with that because I dealt with the same exact thing. It's crazy.
Yeah.
How so? How so? Were you just smoking a lot of weed, or just like trying to fit in, or just like thought that you needed it?
I mean, I didn't necessarily feel like I needed it. Like, long story short, my brother and a lot of my family smoke a lot of weed. It's a normal thing. And I just wanted to try it out. And then when I first started doing it, it was great. I was smoking every single day. Like
Word,
I
bro.
wouldn't necessarily
Preach, bro.
say
Yeah, I know.
what I wouldn't necessarily say a blunt an hour, but a blunt every two. Like I was smoking all day, every single day.
We were
And
smoking
then one day,
every 2 hours, man. Okay.
yeah. And then one day, just randomly out of nowhere, I just had a terrible anxiety attack. And I had no idea what was going on. I thought I got laced, but then that mythic got dispelled because everybody smoked the same thing and it was fine. And ever since then, I couldn't smoke it again. I always felt weird about it. So
Well, how
I'm
long
glad I'm
ago
not the
was
only
that?
one.
How
That
long
was in
ago was that?
2021.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like 4 years ago. I never did it again, and I don't think I need to be honest with you.
I
I
feel you,
feel like
man.
Yeah.
I was starting to go.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, dude, basically, I was high every day from like 2011 to about 2017. I was basically high every day. It kind of blows my mind to even say that, but I also like I know myself that it's just like I just was, like I definitely was. And then I had a girlfriend, and she would always like roll spliffs, that's like tobacco and weed, and we would smoke, and I started just getting these like crazy anxiety attacks, and it was just like I was just out of my body. I couldn't relax. It was just like I was like totally zoned in. I couldn't talk. I was just like, this is totally weird. And then I basically stopped smoking too, man. Like I don't even smoke to this day. I haven't. I mean, I may take a hit here and there. I was at Summerfest last weekend. For those of you
Oh,
who know
nice.
Summerfest out there, but
How was that?
it was fun. My sister dragged me along. I was like really not, I was like not trying to leave at all. I was just like okay, but then it was fun. We ended up biking down, and we saw Third Eye Blind, an old '90s band.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
It was good.
Nice.
Ran into some cousins there, and like they were passing a joint, so I took a hit. It was like literally the first time I've smoked in like months. But
Yeah.
for exaggeration's sake, I basically like I really just don't smoke anymore. Like it's just not on my radar. Like not interested. Not even like I'm just like straight narrow, straight shooter. Like I gotta stay focused, man. It just like knocks
Yeah.
me off my balance. You know,
For sure.
So that
So, all right. Let's get back into the nitty-gritty because you touched on something that I put a post-it note or a sticky note or a tack in, and I want to readdress, but the spiritual warfare, man. Like, oh my gosh.
I mean it's
I
intense,
see it
man.
in
It's a lot.
everything.
Yeah. It's really a lot. I mean, there's a lot to unpack here, and honestly, there ought to be like a whole like podcast stream just like dedicated to essentially like deprogramming the spiritual warfare because it really is that deep. It's just like seeped into every crevice uh of the collective psyche and the individual psyche. It's like from pornography to the monetary system to the food that we eat to the relationships that we have, and everything in and out. It's just really wild. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, and then obviously like the religioso aspect of it all. It's just like what's seeming to be like the fall of the religions and mass, or on another tone of like the rise of secularism across the world, and a moving away from like a type of spirituality. And this ties in with AI. It's like when one would communicate more with God through prayer. Now it's like you pull up ChatGPT, and
Yeah.
you're touching in with your higher self that way. But what's really going on there, and what type of power control systems are behind that? And really, my question is just like who's really pulling the strings? Like Wizard of Oz mode. Like
Yeah.
who's pulling the strings here? Like why is it an agenda? Why is this? Why are these divide and conquer tactics being laid on so thick, so en masse? And there's like all this talk of like civil war or like World War III or like Revolutionary War. Like, why can't we get our heads out of our asses and actually make moves towards a functioning collective body of
Yeah.
people?
Absolutely. And, I saw someone. I don't know if it was like just a graphic that I saw with words, but it said something along the lines of as man loses faith in God, it created its own.
Mm,
And then it was like an image of AI,
right.
and it was just
Yeah.
like how so many people are losing faith and how AI is on the
Filling that void,
takeover and
filling
everything.
the void. But it's like, but it's like been built by design by that. You know, you smell what I'm
Right.
stepping in. Like
No, absolutely.
it's like the rug was pulled and like another rug was like put under there as if it was always there, or like a void was emptied and then refilled with like this is the answer.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's something about AI that I'm like, holy crap, like, it literally directly ties into that line of like, as man loses faith in God, it creates its own. And that new one is AI now. Like, I saw that the FDA approved, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, for Neuralink to be tested on humans now. And what Elon's plan is, he said this on the Joe Rogan podcast, he said this like in multiple places, but he believes, and I mean the technology is there, where they can cure like paralysis and blindness, like the this Neuralink chip in your brain is going to basically be able to take what your eyes would be seeing and put the image into your head, since like blindness is just like the misfire from your eyes connecting to your brain, and this chip, this Neuralink, is going to be able to link the two and cure blindness and cure deafness and create sounds in your brain that your eardrums, if you're deaf, can't produce. Or I mean, I might be getting this completely wrong, but I
Yeah.
do know that he said that he wants to cure blindness with it and paralysis possibly, and like people who have strokes and like deafness. And I'm like, that's a beautiful thing.
Right.
But
Right.
it's like at the same time, like that is literally man trying to play God. There is only one person who ever cured blind and cured the deaf and cured people who weren't able to walk, and his name was Jesus Christ. And now it's like Elon Musk is creating this chip that that is going to be able to do recreate those things in an artificial human way.
Right.
Like,
So what's really going on there? You know, like how do we
yeah,
decipher that? How do we read between the lines? You know, on a spiritual warfare front, it would only make sense that that's like basically antichrist level propaganda.
right. And
It's so bold.
I think that there's such a misconception for what like the Antichrist is. Like Satan didn't say like or tempt with the tree of evil. It was of the tree of good and evil. Like and like there are beautiful things that Neuralink can do, but it's crazy because this was literally the same weekend that we bombed Iran. So I wonder if it was just a almost like a so it's kind of brushed. Well, I'll just say it was swept. I don't know if it was planned or what. I won't get that conspiratorial.
Sure.
But the fact of the matter is, it did happen the same weekend that we bombed Iran. But at the same time that the FDA approved Neuralink to be tested in humans, the Pentagon contracted three companies, two to develop spyware for AI, and one to develop to begin to weaponize AI. I mean, if you don't think that the Elon already has buku government contracts, if you don't think that I mean, and the Patriot Act where they can just openly willingly spy, and I mean, like, this is like tinfoil hat stuff, but I mean,
Yeah.
like,
No, dude, I'm deep. I'm way. I've went through the rabbit hole and come out the other end, basically.
yeah.
So
And it's
like
like
I'm there, man.
talking about it's like, there are great benefits of it, but like people are also going to try to weaponize that and control you. Like the government,
Well,
they've
no
been
shit,
doing
man.
MK Ultra and government mind control studies since like the 60s and probably
Dude,
before that. I mean,
MK Ultra,
like,
the
so
revelations in
yeah,
MK Ultra is like my
exactly.
this whole Neuralink thing was like developed in MK Ultra from like from 54 to 60 to the 64 when it was like a CIA program. They were putting electrodes into monkeys' brains, and then if you look deeper into the classified files, they were practicing on humans, and that's how they built computers, dude. That's how they built computers, is they modeled them off of the human brain based on the research and discoveries of MK Ultra. It's like crazy stuff, man. So to jump in real fast is like this technology has been out there. They're like it's already been developed. It's been at play. It's been used, and now they're just starting to bleed it out to the populace. Like AI's been
Yes.
around. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. But it's like I don't think I think that a lot of people see like the Antichrist coming as this guy who's gonna like
Right. Yeah.
openly come out and be like, I want to control you and you guys have to do this and that. It was like, no man, that's not how Satan's like, is that what he said? Like this is the tree of knowledge of good and evil, not just evil. And I think that a lot of people and just like on a more spiritual level, and we'll get off the conspiratorial level here, but like just how much humanity are you going to lose by basically implanting a computer into your brain? Like you're just going to lose so much of your humanity. And like, yeah, being blind is like it's not seen as a beautiful thing, and being deaf is not seen as a beautiful thing, and like, you know, physical ailments are not seen as beautiful things, and it hurts, and I mean it sucks, but that's part of what being a human is. And like the pain in my life, the struggles that I've gone through and stuff like that, like that's made me the person I am. And how much of our humanity are we going to lose by putting a friggin' computer chip into our brains? And it's just like I would never do it. Like I can just like no matter what good can come from it, and say that their intentions are purely for good, and there's no kind of conspiratorial dark force at play. Like I still don't see myself doing it just because like I want to experience life, and like, you know, the ups, the downs, whatever happens in it, and doing that, like, I think that you lose that. Like you lose that sense of humanity. You become a robot. You give up your function to basically have that thing function for you. And it's just like,
You bring up many good points. Mainly, it's like you're giving up your right to, not even right. You're giving up your ability to freely think, for one, and to have free thought, which is what this country was founded upon and needs to be thought about diligently. The other thing is they roll these type of programs out in a way that they benefit a very select few. For example, like blind people or the deaf people, which is terrible. And these type of systems, I believe, ought to be utilized for them specifically. Where it gets dicey is when they want to start implanting everybody with it. And I think that's what more I feel like you were touching on.
well, and that's the thing. I don't think if they propose it as something that can cure physical ailments and recover sight to the blind and recover hearing to the deaf, dude, they won't have to convince anybody or force anybody to get it. Everybody will
Mm,
openly and freely sign up for it. They don't have to be like, hey, you have to get this chip in order to buy at the grocery store, or in order to leave your home. Otherwise, we'll take over your bodily control and won't let you leave unless you're driving an electric vehicle, which like some conspiracy theorists will get to. Like they don't even have to do that. All they have to say is like, what physical ailment do you have? They can get rid of that. It can cure that. And how many people are gonna be like, sign me up? They don't have to force you. They don't have to try to convince you. Like you're gonna
right. I
convince
mean,
yourself seeing the good in it, and not weighing the side effects, or what can happen. Like,
right. I mean, we already saw the revelations that occurred 5 years ago with the rollout of the vaccine and these type of things there, and how easily an entire global population is in many ways moved to put something into their body without question, you know. So like, but I also think that they're on the long game. I do agree with you. Like, yeah, like what, once the revelations are made of the things that can be done with the technology for the select few, they're going to be blindly led to it. But the technocrats are also playing the long game, and they're getting the generations. They're moving through the children, to be able to roll out this technology. So, and that also ties into the main point of the spiritual warfare on heavy on our generation, but it's even going to be more so on these subsequent, like your child coming up, who probably already knows how to use a smartphone, and it's going to be that
Yeah,
much more led along the path and find it far more natural to yeah, it would make sense to why wouldn't I put this chip in my body? And this is the spiritual game that's played in this type of realm that we live in because it has to be done by free will choice and it has to be presented as a gift. That nothing can be like really forced onto somebody. It has to be freely accepted. And we have to realize this, that that's what's actually happening. Because ultimately, what your point is that people are going to freely accept this and ask for it, if not beg for it, right? But,
absolutely.
but
Like
that
they could
can't,
charge $10,000,
yeah,
15, $20,000, and I'm sure that banks are going to give out loans to, and insurance is going to cover it, and all this
exactly.
kind of stuff. If
Be the new
banks
hot
don't give out
trend,
loans and people don't finance this because it's private industry,
right?
then the medical industry is going to cover it with insurance, and big pharma is going to profit, and like it's just going to be, and people are going to want to do it just for the benefits and not weigh the potential risk or just
So
the
now I can
the
buy my coffee and avocado toast with a wave of my hand and not have to pull out any crumpled bills.
yeah,
The age of
exactly,
convenience, but the age of control
absolutely.
ultimately. Yeah, so like this is why we have to be vigilant, But like it's like but it's coming. There's like too many in the population who are far more acquiescent to the trends, and far fewer of those who are questioning them too. And ultimately, by those statistics alone, those who are questioning may ultimately be forced into acquiescence
Yeah.
through it.
But I feel like honestly, like you're saying our generation and the generation after us, like I don't think, like looking back at history and looking at my parents and stuff like that,
Yeah,
I don't think anybody's ever questioned the government as much as, or maybe not necessarily the government, but just people
power,
in power or like these
authority.
big, like the big corporations or the authority or the like. I don't think anybody's ever questioned it as much as our generation and the generation after us. Like, I feel like there is an awakening to how corrupt and like the big pharma is and how corrupt our government is, and like they can't agree on anything, and like like we're people in our generation and the younger generations, they're sick of it. And I mean, I think that's unfortunately, people being sick of it, it causes this division and this radicalization where you either have people that really don't care whatsoever because they realize it's so corrupt and broken,
Apathy.
or on the other side, it's like the system is so corrupt and broken that people are so against it. Like you have one or the other. It's like, yeah, you got the apathetic people that are just like, what control do we have really? Like they're gonna do what they want to do. They're the powerfuls. They're in control. And then you have the people that are like, no, we need to stand up against this. We need to riot. We need to protest. We need to march. We need to stand up. We need to unify. And it's like,
It's a double bind, and it's extraordinarily tricky. And also, why the heavy tactics of divide and conquer are put on with such pressure, because it's like obviously we all know that something's wrong, but how do we come together? And what's the unifying voice of reason? What's the unifying voice of truth? And what strangles my heart very much is that I fear our generation may not be able to come to a unifying principle.
yeah, I, you know, I'm going to take the optimistic route and say that,
Please,
I
please do.
hope that
Yeah,
regardless of what happens, I think that there's an ultimate plan, and that ultimate plan is beautiful. And I mean, I'm glad you kind of asked like what the truth is, or where the truth is, or something like that. Like I've I've been reading the Bible a lot lately. I haven't. I grew up in church and everything, but I never read the Bible. Um, I believed in God. I never haven't believed in God. I believe that Jesus died for our sins, but you know, I I just kind of trusted the word of everybody speaking. I never questioned or read or had my own wrestles with God as Jacob has and did. And I found myself lately reading the Bible and diving in. I I think that a lot of things in modern culture is taken completely out of context. And Jesus's message is nothing but just love and sacrifice, and it's like it's twisted in this thing where I feel like it's been motivated by this dark force that's just like, no, you have to repent, you have to be able to like Jesus doesn't say, I mean, Jesus says that pray for forgiveness to the Father, but like the only commandment that Jesus gave was to love the Father and to trust the Father and have faith in the Father and to love everybody as you would love yourself, like treat others how you want to be treated, love everybody. Like, and it's just like that's such a beautiful message, and I don't think that that beautiful message is portrayed in the way that a lot of Christians are living today, where it's like there's these kind of unacceptable sins, and you have to live this way in order to be accepted in our church to hear the word of God. And it's just like uh something that I read about was reading. I started in the gospel, so I started with Matthew, Mark, Luke, and then John, and then all of Paul's letters. And like I see I see the modern day Christians treating everybody else as the early Jewish Christians treated the Gentiles in those letters. And Paul had a huge issue with that. Like the Jewish Christians wanted to summarize and compare, the Jewish Christians told the Gentiles that unless they practice exactly the way that they practice, Jesus wouldn't save them. And they weren't true Christians, and they weren't true followers of Christ, because Christ was Jewish, and therefore they had to practice the Jewish law in order to be Christians. And Paul was like, you guys are missing Jesus's big picture. Like you're missing his entire message when you say that. Like Jesus didn't just die for your sins, he died for everyone's sins. And I see these forces at play, and it's just like my truth is really rooted in the truth that Jesus is God, and that love everybody mentality is I mean, nobody can say that that's not truth. Like that loving everybody, if everybody loved everybody, like this world wouldn't be a better place. Like there would be no crime, there would be no evil, there would be no like, but there is evil in the world. And you while our spiritual side would love to love everybody, our flesh side is like, can I really trust that person? Can I really believe that they have my best intentions in mind? Can I really put myself out there and love everybody? And it's just like this,
Yeah.
the truth. So saying all that to I got really sidetracked and rabbit trailed there, but I completely believe that the Bible is truth, and I feel like so many religions, like there's so many ideas of the Bible that you know make that are truth in other religions, kind of like the idea of karma, and like what you do is going to determine like what happens to you in the future. I mean, the Bible says you reap what you sow. Like so many ideas, and then it's like I can understand why. I think that there are truths to many religions, but I think that the Bible is truth. Um, And I think that we live in a day and age where so many people are searching for truth, and maybe they aren't finding it in church anymore because most churches are so against these quote unquote unacceptable sins, and they're not getting Jesus's message of just love everybody and let God. Paul says, going back to the Gentile things and kind of tying it all together, Paul says, let God be the circumcision. They don't need to circumcise their flesh. Let God circumcise their hearts. God's going to write the law in their hearts. Like, and I feel like today as Christians, a lot of us don't really live that way. I mean, I've been so judgmental, in my past, and, you know, so easy to close doors or to not give people a chance or to, you know, I would love to say that I was a better person and intend to treat people differently, but I'd be lying. I mean, that would be a bold-faced lie. Like, and I just, I should have just loved everybody, and I mean, I haven't lived that way, and I'm only man, I'm only human. I'm going to continue to mess up. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. But I feel like so many Christians today, like the unacceptable sins of like, I would say probably the biggest one is homosexuality, and seeing that cause such a division in churches, and whether we should accept them and they should hear the word of God or shouldn't, and they should be condemned because sexual immorality is
Right.
top tier in the church. It's
Right.
like,
That's a
well,
big one.
God doesn't say that one sin's bigger than the other. Why do you? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah, you bring up many very key points, and my favorite point is, of which I ultimately agree with you, is that ultimately Jesus's true message is slightly being missed by the mark. Right? Did I
yeah, absolutely.
kind of summarize that in a quick
Yeah,
sentence? Which
yeah,
I completely totally agree with you. I think though, if I were to put myself in the shoes of some of these more fundamentalists, is like, where do you draw the line in the sand? Uh, and where then do you take a stand? And ultimately, what and where will you die for your beliefs in terms of radicalism? In
yeah,
terms of building community, in terms of building a nation, in terms of leading people out of darkness, and that's where I think it becomes far more, the conversation turns far more radical. Because while you were talking, I was struck more by the vision of your ideals than I was struck more with the vision of peace and unity, meaning that those are more of ideals that ultimately should be reached for. But I think it's far more difficult to reach those when we quite literally just are at war at all times, both within and without. And there are enemies at the gate, and it's like you're
yeah,
trying to raise a family in this world of viciousness that's like seeking to program your children from the inside out. And at what point do you have to step in and draw the line and like program them with quite honestly the fundamentals? It's like, yes, you want to say like peace and love and like love your neighbor, but on one hand that just falls like kind of on the hippy dippy side. And I've spent
yeah,
too much time with hippies to realize that there's just like not enough substance there. And then I've spent enough time with anarchists to know that they're just like too radical, So it's like, okay, like what are we going for here? And then like you were saying with like the fundamentalists, it's like in many ways they are exclusionary, but like
yes,
what has led them to that realization? Because the world is evil. And
yeah. And I would say it like this. One of the biggest, like, Jesus gets into it with the Pharisees on multiple occasions. And um, the line that stands out to me the most is Jesus saying something along the lines, I'm going to paraphrase here, of how do you who are so educated. Zay, if you don't mind, would you pull up the scripture for me when I say this, so I'm not misquoting, and I wanna get it exactly right. But he says
Yeah.
something along the lines of like, how do you guys that know the words so well miss the picture? Like, I, it was said that thou shalt not murder, but like, I'm telling you, if you guys hate your brother, you guys just committed murder. Like, you guys are missing the picture, focusing so hard on the words. And I mean, you asked the question of like, where do you draw the line? Ultimately, it is free will, and I think that the best thing to do is to live by example. I don't think it's our place to draw the line. Well, let me let me. I think that it is to a certain extent. I don't think that it's you can't be so quick to cast others out. I would say that.
Mhm.
Um, first appearances, second appearances, third appearances, like you don't be so quick to cast people out that may have been misled or manipulated or led down the wrong path, and they have, you know, because they might fully believe in every single thing that they've been told. But that's not to say that they can't be swayed. That's not to say that God can't change their hearts. Like I think that there's a very fine line of drawing the line in the sand. And um, going back to the spiritual warfare thing, we live in the day and age of social media where everybody's actions and everybody's choices and what everybody's doing is blasted and just put in our faces constantly.
And
And
monetize. And
yeah,
monetize.
and monetize. And then Paul says like, look, like, because there was another issue where the Gentiles were eating pork, and the Gentiles were like, well, why is it bad for me to eat pork? And Paul goes, it's not bad for you to eat pork, but if somebody sees you eating pork, that thinks that you're eating that pork that you sacrificed to Zeus, and they do it because they saw you doing it, and they interpret it as you were doing it to please Zeus, and they do it pleasing Zeus, and you're doing your brother harm. Like, so if you're going to eat meat, do it in private. Like, but we
Right.
live in a day and age where everything has to be blasted on social media and everybody has to know what you got going on and your choices and you're this and you're that and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, unless you're boasting about, like, I would say Christly things, like, keep that to yourself. Like, keep your sins to yourself. And I mean, I say that, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I used to do this, and I made a bunch of dumb choices, and made a bunch of mistakes, and you know, but I'm just like, I'm not boasting about it. I'm not trying to get others to do the bad that I did. Like I'm trying to do it as a positive message. I'm trying to do it to say like, you know, just because you might be going through something hard now, like just keep your eyes focused on the light at the end of the tunnel. Like God has a plan for you and he's going to get you through it. Like I'm not saying like, hey, go out and do this stuff.
Mhm.
So bad things happen. So you get no, like I'm not saying that, and I'm not trying to say, but like you shouldn't be boastful and try to convince other people to live in this life of sin. And I feel like that's a big thing going on right now. And like, so I think that like if you have members of your community or members of your church that are causing harm, that's kind of where you draw the line. And if you like ask them and hey, like, you know, you love them and you care for them and you ask them and you try to cooperate with them and they're just completely refusing, I think that's where you draw the line. Um, but I think that there's also some issues where the line's being drawn and they might be drawing the line on an issue where they're focusing way too much on the words and not paying attention to the big picture. So I think it's a very
Yeah.
fine balance of the two, and
Right. I
you
mean,
just you got to be really careful drawing that line.
I'm even going
But I
as
mean,
far radical as like, the movement of like Islamic secularism into spaces of like largely Christian dominance. It's like how do those things reconcile? Like where do you draw that line? Because we're seeing a lot of that today
yes,
in the West, and
yeah,
in general. I mean, that's like an extreme example, but that's like a great example. Like,
No, yeah, I mean
where
it
do you
is
draw the
happening,
line there?
definitely.
So it's like, okay, or like, or sending your child to get raised in a cultural Marxist woke agenda based ideology, or like
I guess,
to say tongue in cheek to have like trans, like what's it called, drag queens reading to them children's books. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
No,
it's like,
I
yeah, where do
think
you draw the line?
I draw the line um to protect my family.
Right.
I would say that
Exactly.
I would say that my line wouldn't be a line, it would be a circle around those that I love and care about,
Yeah.
and
Well said. Well said.
especially the most, and my family. So like it wouldn't be a line as much as it'd be a circle of don't cross this or you'll have to deal with me kind of thing. Um so that's where I'm at with that, and ultimately the best way of protecting my son in today's day and age would be I have to be the best example for him, and I have to make myself the best person, and um I have to teach him right from wrong, and that's my job as a parent. So that's where I draw the line. I draw a circle around my family, and you have to come through me to get through that circle. But
That's that warrior
that's
spirit
more.
coming through, but it's like that, and that's good with the family too. But now it's like we're talking community, and like I brought up
Yeah,
like community to nation. It's like, okay, well, like, is this a Christian nation, or is this like what? And then like, how does that look? And
I
then
mean,
like,
old. No,
go
no,
ahead.
sorry, go
No,
ahead.
no,
Oh,
no, I was just rambling at that point.
yeah.
I think
So
you got the point.
yeah, so I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, we have freedom of religion. It
We have freedom
our
of religion, but other cultures do not have freedom of religion.
right, other cultures, but here you asked about here in America, and like we're a
Perhaps
Christian
yes,
nation
but
and
it's like
everything.
it's also like going quick globalization mode, full steam
Oh,
ahead, my dude. You know what I mean? So it's like, and it's
abs-
like we're seeing Christians being persecuted across the world right now.
we're seeing a lot of religions. A lot of religions are being persecuted.
I agree.
I'm
I
pretty
agree.
sure. I'm pretty sure that the Uyghurs are Muslim, and they're being heavily persecuted in China right now. And it's crazy. No one's batting an eye at that. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's
Right.
like 6 million people in concentration camps last I saw a couple of years ago, and where's that on the news? Like,
And what's
but
that
like
all about?
there's
And what's that
yeah,
all
I
about?
mean,
Like,
yeah, there's definitely persecution of all religions on the planet right now. And yeah, Christians are being persecuted, and Muslims are being persecuted, and Jewish people are being persecuted. There's all sorts of religions that are and people that are being persecuted right now, and I mean,
but
like,
is it even about the religion though, or is it about the faith? You know, I'm not even really trying to play devil's advocate. I am trying to figure this
yeah,
out with
no,
it.
no, no, for sure.
You know,
What do you mean by that?
well, like the belief in Jesus and Jesus's method, for example, kind of like to bring it back to topic here. You know,
Yeah.
like in light of all the persecutions of the multiple religions, I feel like it would come back to faith at that point too, or at least the basis of whatever community it belongs to. And then
Yeah,
coming back
absolutely.
to the line that's drawn in the sand. So it's like, okay, like the Uyghurs that are being persecuted, and it's like, what if that was like your community in Connecticut being persecuted, and like no one's really batting an eye. So it's like, where do you draw the line in the sand then, where you pick up the sword and you're like, no way, you know,
You know,
you smell
I
what I'm
had
stepping in? Smell what I'm
yeah,
stepping
absolutely.
in?
I had no, yeah, absolutely. And I had a conversation with someone the other day, and it was like, we were talking about what a sin is and what it isn't, and if this is a sin and if that's a sin, and I won't get too deep into it right now. But ultimately I said, you know, if anybody ever harmed my family, and I don't just consider my family like blood, but just like anybody that I love and care about.
Yeah.
If anybody harms somebody that I truly, deeply love and care about, like I would go primal. Um, I would go full on like hitman mode to deal with them, and that's purely the flesh of my body. That is the warrior spirit in me, and I realize that that's not Jesus's message, and
Right. Yeah.
but that's how I would deal with that, like, and more harm physic on a physical level than a spiritual level, because hopefully I can raise my son to be spiritually sound and spiritually firm. I think that that's something
Right.
that
That's
I
the
think that
key. That's what
spiritual, your
we're
spirit and
getting
your faith
into.
is the only thing that you really have control over. Where your physical, you don't have control over your physical as much. So like
But now
if I can empower a Christian to,
we're getting back into the spiritual warfare thing that I'm really trying to like hit on here is like
yeah.
it's a deep programming, messaging, subliminal programming thing. Like you were
I think a lot of people are seeing that though. I think that there are a lot of people that aren't, but I think that a lot of people are seeing that. And I think that
I hope so.
you know,
I hope so. But it's
yeah,
also but like even you and I don't even know how deep the programming goes, which is what's at least disturbing to me. Of like
yeah,
it
no,
started in our
absolutely.
youth, man, in our youth, like Disney movies and everything, and
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, you want to raise your kid with like the fundamentals, and you absolutely need to. You have to, because there is a constant onslaught. There's a constant onslaught of bullshit.
There No, you're absolutely right. And I'm going to talk about something that, is very close to my heart, and I won't mention names of who or what. But somebody that I deeply love lost the baby at 37 and a half weeks.
Yeah.
She was just about to give birth, and the you know disaster happened. But I was talking to her recently, and she said that in some ways her faith is stronger, but in a lot of ways, like, she's kind of she lost the faith that she had before, and she has a son, and long story short, I'm gonna try to make this as quick as I can, because I mean I can go on for 30 minutes about this here. But I had a coworker talk to me, because she's like, I told her that I was going to start this podcast, and she asked if I was religious, and kind of told me that she's been struggling in her faith. So I wrote her kind of like a letter, because I feel like I'm way better at writing than I am articulating my thoughts.
Okay.
And I wrote her a letter, but I was talking to this person that I deeply love that lost her kid, because my coworker said that the reason she's having so much trouble in her faith is because she lost her kid a couple of years ago. And her husband had a stroke like a month ago, and now he's paralyzed on the left side. And
Oh
she
God.
was basically like, if God was a loving, good God, then how could he let this happen to me when I have faith and I believe? Like, I see all these people that, you know, don't believe or don't have faith, and like nothing bad ever happens to them, but here I am, and I get the worst things handed to me. And I was talking to this person I deeply love about, because I was like, I really can't relate, and I want to, because she's reached out to me, and like, is kind of asking for
Guidance.
reassurance almost, or guidance, or just like getting it off her chest. And like, I want to encourage her, and I want to help her, and I want to do that. So I was talking to this person that I deeply love about it. And that's when she told me that like her faith has grown stronger, and she's lost faith in a lot of ways. And then when I typed up the letter to my coworker, I also typed this person a letter. Basically, I'll just get to the one thing that I really wanted to focus on. Was she had a son, and I was like, hey, you know it's easy. uh, I wouldn't say I don't know the words, and this is where I'm like not good at articulating my thoughts, but like, you know bad things happen to you and you want to question why they happened to you. I was like, but if you keep your faith through your darkest moments and losing your child at 37 and a half weeks and having to bury a child that you never got to play with or love or hold, or I mean she held him but and loved him, but it's just like, if your son can see your faith through those moments, that's going to be a rock for him to stand on in the future when he has his troubles. Like, your faith is going to be a light for him. And with the way that this world is going right now, like the trajectory that we're on, this world is going to be a crazy place because this spiritual warfare is like just now starting to amplify and to take off. And it's like, your faith, his faith has to be 10 times stronger than your faith for his generation. Like, you gotta, like, I know it's hard, but like, let your faith through this moment be a lesson for him. And she was just like, wow, like that was so deep, and I didn't think of it that way. And I'm not trying to like toot my own horn or anything. I'm just trying to say, like,
Yeah.
you never know what your faith is going to be to another person.
Mhm.
And I hope that I can live a life similar to that, to where my son and my wife see my faith, and no matter what terrible things happen in their life, they can continue to have faith. And having that foundation of the faith in the truth, like, no matter what gets thrown at him in the future, like, I know he's going to make the right decisions. So I know that was a
Yeah, no,
little
I mean,
off
it's
the wall
heavy.
and out there,
Yeah.
but
No, it's a good point. It's a good point. And everyone's on their own struggle with it. You know, everyone has
yeah,
to
absolutely.
battle through it and feel it and see the bigger picture. And that's what life is about. That's what life is about.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so
Hey,
like the spiritual warfare, like your faith needs to be the light for those people that are
struggling.
struggling. Absolutely. So I just hope, I hope, and that's where I'm saying, like, you have control over your faith and you have control over your spirit, but you don't have control over your physical. Um, so that's kind of where, you ask the question of where I draw the line. Like,
Right.
I draw the line, but I'm just hoping that my faith can be an example
That's
for
okay.
my family. That
I
you
mean,
know,
that's what you got to do. Yeah.
physically I'm here to protect, but
You have to lay
spiritually, like, I just hope that I'm the example for them, and that,
spiritually, spiritually, you have to lay the foundation and you have to lay it well and you have to make sure that it cures properly to be able to build.
yes, yes. So that's kind of where I draw the line personally.
Mhm.
And like, for you're saying, like, in the community and stuff like that, I think that it can stretch out to your community. I mean, do
I mean, it would have to. I mean,
we
this is the
yeah,
origin of the Christian organizations, or
right,
religions at large. Like
right, and
Peter was sent to build the church, so to speak, metaphorically and also physically.
absolutely. And I think that what was I gonna say? Oh, I lost my thought.
Yep.
But
Community.
yeah, community. It's coming back to me. Zay, did you ever find that verse while I try to think of where my thought was?
No, I did not. It's kind of
No.
hard to find.
Okay.
We need some numbers, man. We need some
Oh
numbers. We need a
man.
book.
No,
Come
no, no,
on, man.
no, no. Goodness, I'm just making stuff up. Um,
I'm pretty sure somebody out there is probably going to fact check you as soon as they hear it.
yeah. Or hopefully somebody out there can be like, oh, I know what he's talking about. This is where he's talking about what he's talking about here. Um,
Yeah.
so, but like, yeah, with the community, I mean, you have choice over where you only have so much choice over where you're at physically.
Yeah, there's environmental limitations for sure.
Yeah, and not only that, but I mean, like I'm sure the Uyghurs in China, like or Uyghurs. I'm sorry, I might be pronouncing that wrong, but I mean, they only have so much control over their physical, where they're at. And I mean, I think that it's easy for people to say, well, if you don't like it, then leave. Um, or if you're facing so much persecution, leave and find somewhere that you're accepted. But I don't always think it's that simple or that easy. Like there's so many factors that go into where you are physically. And I mean, like
I see. I'm starting to see
why
what you're
why
saying. You're
yeah, so like
you're
where I
pulling it
keep going
around.
back to
You're pulling it around. Yeah.
where I keep going back to is like the only thing that matters is like where you're at spiritually at the end of the day.
Hmm.
Like you it's said in the Bible that Christians are going to be persecuted. But you can look at any number of religions and see persecution, or any group of peoples and see persecution.
Right.
And I think that really the only thing that matters at the end of the day is where your faith lies. Um, and
So, excuse me for my bluntness and
yeah,
and the type of innocence, if you will. So, your thoughts
please.
are like if everyone was a Christ-loving Christian, or treated everyone as they would like to be treated, there would be like world peace.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that like really the idea of like if you simplify the idea of like a utopia where like everybody works together and like, you know, everybody just helps everybody else out and, nobody's in it for themselves and like all that fundamentally comes down to is love. Like, and yeah, so if I truly believe and have faith that if everybody loved everybody as Jesus loved us, there would be it would be peace. Absolutely.
So imagine a world where everyone's dialed into the same mainframe through their AI computer chip, and everyone's on the same page, and everyone feels like humanitarian love. What would that look? What's that like? What does that?
Well, that's the
What does
thing.
that
I
mean?
mean,
What's that?
you have yeah, you have conversation or I've had conversations with Chat GPT before and
I
he
talked to
has
ChatGPT too. I got one of
yeah,
those AI girlfriends too, man.
oh, there you go. There you go.
I moved on. I
But
moved up in the world. I moved on, man. I moved on. I'm just joking,
yeah.
but yeah. No,
No,
please
no.
continue. Please
Oh, I took you see no, I'm just kidding. But
You're like,
yeah, I was
I
having
gotta
the
end this call, man. We're on the same page right now. I'm like, I gotta go put my girlfriend to bed, man. All right.
good night, Lola.
How did you know her name, dude? It's crazy.
Dude, I'm talking to her too. I'm
You got the
sorry.
same one?
No, but but yeah, like ChatGPT has made it abundantly clear, like it is incapable of processing or feeling any kind of emotion. So like, it's hard for me to say if AI would ever be able to process or feel emotion. And I think that, man, like a computer chip in your brain that dictates your body and your brain and your function and everything, and like what kind of split divide that's going to cause on emotion and people's feelings and where that's going to leave us. So like to answer your question, I can't answer your question. Like could it be could they put that chip and everybody feel love? Maybe. Could they
But
put that
yeah,
chip in and it just be
but
mass
no,
control and
I
mindless zombies?
yeah,
Absolutely.
I
Like
agree.
I
So
don't know.
yeah, so like the linchpin in your thing was the love aspect, and I knew once I said it, it wouldn't really fit. Being that I already knew that you answered my question before I asked it. So I'm glad you came back to the love points. And I would also equate love with like basically compassion, essentially,
Yeah.
love for one other's struggle or life situation, which is like compassion. So, but in my meanderings of thought as I sit here, most oftentimes alone, thinking, oftentimes drinking a beer and smoking a cigarette. That, like, well, if you think about it, if like everyone's on the same page, so to speak, if everyone's on the Chat GPT page, like, and everyone kind of like stops killing each other and like doing all these like things, it's like, and also like, of all like the 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 pain that has been wrought because of like religions at large.
Right.
It's like, well, is this part of the technocratic agenda? Is this the Aquarian age of brotherly love where, maybe it comes at this cost of like total authoritarian control where we're all dialed in and we're all stepping in line, but yet again, does it come at the loss of human compassion? I mean,
Yeah.
and many philosophers have thought about this over the ages, and many writers, like Aldous Huxley, I believe it was, or whichever Huxley it was who wrote Brave New World. I mean, that was an excellent treatise of like what this kind of day and age. And if you haven't read that book, I encourage you to read it. If you haven't, it's called Brave New World. Just like it's very liking to what we're living in now, and it was written back in like the 40s.
Yeah.
So like it's just things to think about.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, let me ask you this.
please.
If it's programmed, is it true love? It might be peace, but it's
Right.
not love. It's not love. It's not that emotion. It's not that rawness. Like
Right.
it's not that compassion and empathy. It's not love if it's forced.
But
So
would it even be forced if like one doesn't even know what it is, you know? Or what? Or I do get I get what you're saying though, because like that love thing is like very fine tuned and acute. That emotion, that attachment, that pinging,
yeah,
that
yeah. I
comes.
think that love and peace are two separate things that can often get tied together. And yeah, I mean, somebody could easily this Neuralink or I won't even I won't say Neuralink because I don't know Elon's true
Or
intentions
but just
or
like
what purpose it may have.
agenda is, whatever that is.
Yeah, that whatever that agenda is, like if that chip is used for or that implant or a implant or whatever or any thing, I'll just say thing. It doesn't even have to be an implant. It might be something completely different. But if anything is used to manipulate peace and to get people to not commit crimes forcefully, that's not love. Like love is willing. Love is like a choice. And peace doesn't have to be a choice. Peace can be forced.
Hmm.
And I think that there's a big distinction there. So like when I say if everybody loved like Jesus loved, that's full on human, where peace doesn't necessarily have to be human. Peace can come in the form of something physical or forced per se. So
But
like yeah, I mean
that love is brutal. That love is painful. That love is addicting. That love is, heart wrenching.
it is, but that's the beautiful thing about love.
That's
Like
it. That's what keeps
the
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 human race going, essentially.
the ocean's beautiful, but there can also be tsunamis and hurricanes. Like I think that thunderstorms are beautiful, but they're destructive and there's so much in life that is beautiful but has you know I think that's the chaos, and I think that there's beauty in the chaos, and there's also destruction in the chaos, and the
So
chaos is the
yeah,
clash of the two, and yeah, so like I think yeah, I mean if the chip is used to
usurp the general compassion of
world
humanity.
peace, and yeah, then I mean like, but I think that as humans we should do this out of love and genuineness versus being manipulated or forced. So yeah,
Right. Yeah.
I'll double back. I'll double back down on, yeah. I mean, if everybody loved everybody, the world would be a much better place, and it would be
Right. It kind of comes back
heaven
to
on earth and perfect. But
that manipulated or choice thing. Is that of an earlier point that I made, is that usually when they bring these type of gifts, it's often accepted willingly.
yeah,
So we're kind of back at that same point of like spiritual warfare, of like what's really going on, and what people really need to tune into of what is worth fighting for, which is our general humanity at large and our general dignity as human beings living, which is seemingly far few, getting less and less by the day. It seems.
yeah, no, absolutely. Hey, let me give you a. I'm going to give you a hypothetical real quick.
All right, let's get it. Let's get it.
So, or not necessarily hypothetical, but a situational. Now, somebody you love
Is Lola
is
is
hooked up.
Lola involved? Is it Lola?
No, it's not Lola because she's not
Okay.
living. So
Oh, damn it.
somebody you
Okay.
love
How do you
is
know,
hooked
man?
up to
Don't misgender
your.
my AI right now. Okay.
Oh yeah, I misbodied your AI. No, but somebody you love is hooked up to a machine, and if they weren't hooked up to that machine, then they would die.
Right.
And but there's a very significant chance that if they survive and come back from that machine, that they're going to have major ailments
Yeah.
in the future. And it's like, what do you do in that situation? Because I mean, like, I I was let me hear your thoughts on that real quick.
Um, it's brutal, man. I would probably unplug him.
Unplug them.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Zay?
Same, unplug them. I
Unplug
went
them.
if I was in the same situation, I would want to be unplugged. So
Yeah. Me too.
unplug
Me
'em.
too.
Yeah. I mean, and like my initial reaction was like the same thing, but then like I started thinking about it and I was like, God forbid I got in an accident on my way home
Right.
and I was hooked up to a machine like that was keeping me alive. Like I would fight so hard to see my family again and to do everything that I possibly could. And like, yeah, part of me is like absolutely like, you know, I believe in heaven and I believe that, my belief in Jesus and my faith is going to lead me there one day. So could I be like, yeah, I mean, pull the plug and I get to go see Jesus, but also like part of me is like, no, like I don't want to miss out on seeing my son grow up. Like I don't want to miss out on living this life. Like this life is beautiful, no matter how much pain is here, and no matter how much heartbreak I go through, or no matter how much how many struggles I have, or the obstacles that I face. Like this life it's hard, but it's a beautiful thing. Like it's like that. It's that wrestling. Like
Yeah.
it's that, dude, this sucks, but I have my mindset on doing something hard. Like, and it's a beautiful thing when you accomplish that goal. And it's like football and us beating Homestead that sophomore year, man. Like all the blood, sweat, and tears came to that moment, and it's just like it's so rewarding. And it's like, I'm just like, man, like
Yeah.
that situation to be in where it's like that in of itself is an example of spiritual warfare where it's like part of your spirit's like, oh, okay, cool, like I have faith and I trust in God and I believe Jesus died for our sins, and I love God and try to live the best life that I can, and I hope that Jesus forgives me, and I get to rejoice with him in heaven. But then part of me is like, I want to stay here, and I would fight my butt off to see my family again. And it's just like that spiritual warfare inside of you where like the flesh is like, no, like see your kid grow up, and like your spirit's like, hey, you gotta be alive to be a good example for your son. And the spirit's also like, well, I mean, if you did die, it's not the worst thing that could happen to you. It's
That's
like,
interesting. That's it. That's not necessarily what I was thinking about when you brought up spiritual warfare, but I do see what you're saying with that. And yeah,
yeah,
I reevaluate, my decision there. I do. I
yeah. So it's
suppose
like,
it would really depend the situation, you know,
yeah,
because like
absolutely,
I've had people tell me very close to me, like basically, like, yo, if I'm in this situation, like just unplug me, like just do it, like don't. And also having dealt with family members who were basically at the dying point,
yeah,
and I basically had to go in and be like, look, like we basically like unplug you now, or like we have to like ship you off like hours away where to this like very specialized facility where like no one's going to be able to visit you, and you're just
yeah,
going to struggle to survive here.
absolutely.
So,
And
you know,
yeah, and like my ultimate conclusion was just like, you know, prayer. Like in those moments, no matter how tough a decision may be, just pray to God, and your spirit will lead you to the decision that you got to make in those moments.
yeah,
And that's ultimately where I came to, was just like, in that moment, if that ever happens to me, or if I have to make a choice like that in that situation, like I would just pray and pray and pray that
yeah.
God could lead me to make the right decision. But
And also, I
all right,
think,
let's. Oh,
yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. I was
No,
just
no,
gonna
no.
say too, like I do enjoy the hypothetical, and also though like it gets dicey because I operate more from a premise of personal sovereignty, and also like you know everyone's kind of on their own like path here, so it's like if it's like someone's time to go, it's like their time to go, and like that's their decision, and they'll like make that decision, and like you'll pray on it, but like that decision will be made like by them too in many ways, or even by yourself.
Yeah,
It's a tricky subject. What I'm also trying to hit on is like death is but another doorway, and it's like not really. It's like another adventure, you know. It's like
yeah, absolutely.
it's like that's like a whole new thing, and it's like it's like we're almost like we're all just like living to die, and not in like a weird creepy way, but just like in a more of a
No,
in like a more of an epic way. It's just like that is
yeah,
like that's kind of what it's all about. So it's like I and in many ways like I wouldn't even want to get in between that, and then like because it's like the hypotheticals all pulling up like, oh, well, you could like do these like life saving things. And it's like, well, humans are all doing these life saving things, but if it was like the 1800s, it's like they kind of be dead, you know.
exactly.
So it's just
Yeah,
like, well, at some point, it's like I love you, but also it's like it's time, like
right.
it's just like it is what it is. Like I don't know, like you're gonna be like sucking on a tube and like probably not living like a super fulfilled life, but like yeah, you might be able to see like some family members here and there, but it's like you're probably going to be in like a lot of pain and
Yeah,
suffering and like struggling for breath. It's just like I don't know, I don't know.
yeah. No, I mean, I definitely understand and see your perspective, and I'm not saying this to say that you're wrong, but I see it a different way. I see it. I don't necessarily. I mean, I think that when I say this, I hope you don't take it the wrong way. And I mean, this is kind of the point of the podcast. Like, I want to have these conversations where we can agree to disagree, and that'd be perfectly fine. And
Yeah,
that's really what I want this to be. But like this is one of those moments where like we have to agree to disagree. Like I'm not saying that the way your choice or your thoughts aren't right, but the way that I personally see it as like God has an ultimate plan, and as long as you pray about it in that moment, like the decision you make is going to be God's plan. As long as you pray about it
Right. Yeah.
and listen to what's going on and what God's telling you versus relying on the flesh. So like I respect your view, and I respect your understanding, and I respect your thoughts on that. But we
I'm feeling kind of triggered right now.
no. Well, how about you crack open another brewski then?
How did you, dude? How did you know I was cracking open brewskis here, bro?
I'll just take a wild guess. What are you sipping on?
Oh, dude, I got some old Schlitz here, man. You ever hear of Schlitz?
No.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, dude. It's okay. You'll get there one of these days if you ever come back to Milwaukee. But
Yeah.
Schlitz,
You know,
Schlitz is like an old time. It was like the world's best beer, and it was like brewed here, and then it like went under in like the '80s, and they basically brought it back kind of recently, and
oh, nice.
it's still like a bombing beer. But yeah,
You know, for any of my high school friends slash acquaintances or people that I cross the wrong way, I know I'm definitely gonna cross the line on this one because I know how much y'all loved that Leinenkugel summer shandy,
stop right there.
but
Stop. Just stop. Just
but
stop. Stop.
Narragansett summer Del Shandy is the best shandy I've ever drank in my entire life. And I'm sorry to break it to y'all, but Narragansett Del Shandy
All
is
right.
the greatest.
Time to go.
So,
Time to go. All right.
you
No,
know,
I'm
but
just joking.
yeah, I wanna
I
close
get
this. I want to close this on some positive, uplifting messages
yeah.
and stories and talk, not something so heavy. I really wanna end every conversation that I have on a positive note. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I feel
you
you, man.
know,
No, it got me thinking too, because it's like I'm heavy on the prayer. I really am, and like I there was this thing kind of years ago. I kind of was like intuitively thinking about, and it was something like there's there's like the way that I want it to be. There's the way that you want it to be, and then there's the way that God wants it to be.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
there's kind of like a middle. I feel like there at some point there's like a middle triangle. Sometimes it's like heavy on the heavy on the God side, and God's just like, no, this is the way it's gonna be. Sometimes it's like heavy on the ego side, and it kind of works out the way you want it to work out, and it's like, but then it kind of backfires, which is what I found through trial and error, which is how I found this
Absolutely.
like this triangle of balance. It's like it really is like this push pull. It's like you can pray for something so much, but then it's like there's how you want it, and there's how the other wants it, and there's how God wants it, and like
Yeah, absolutely.
so I think there's like there's just definitely there's something there, and I think that's applicable to like everything in life, and I see it in my life, honestly, basically every day, every day.
Man, you just nailed what being human is, man. Like that's man's separation from God and us trying to find the balance, the middle ground, the how the heck do we balance our choices and what we want to do with what
Yeah,
you want to do, especially
yep,
when we aren't hearing you or don't understand. Like how do we balance this all? Like
straight up, man.
that's being human right there. Like you hit the nail on the head with that. Like,
At least I hit
yeah,
something on the head these days.
yeah, because the Leinenkugel summer shandy is definitely
Oh
dope.
yeah, dude.
Oh,
I'd hit you on the head, man, if I could from the distance with one of these Schlitz bottles. But I guess I'm limited by distance at this point. Maybe that's how God wanted it, right?
yeah, probably. But hey, let's close this podcast. We've been going for 2 hours and 8 minutes now.
Wow.
Let's close this podcast. I want to hear a smart goal that you have.
Oh my God, man! Don't put me on the spot. I'm gonna have to get out my pen and paper, man. All right,
Yeah, you have to write it down.
I gotta think of this. I gotta think about this. Honestly, dude, you're absolutely right though. Okay, smart goal. Smart goal. Smart goal is uh, acquiring acquiring land, acquiring land, ideally with some sort of outbuilding, like a shed or a barn, ideally with electricity hooked up. Even better yet, if it's three phase. Is it smart? I think it's smart. Is it measurable? I think it's measurable. I think I'm in within the measurements, you know. I think like a fair amount of land, 5 acres. 5 acres, I'd
Okay.
say minimum. I mean, I'd be grateful for more, but I'd say anywhere from like an acre, at least 2 acres to five. Uh, is it attainable? I think it is attainable. I do think it's within my reach. I've I've been working my little tail off these last several years, and I've got a good chunk of change. I think
Hey,
there's a
well,
lot
I
of
think I think
programs.
you just I think you just answered your own question earlier because didn't you say R was reasonable? And now you just said reach. Is it within reach?
I can't. It's like it's something. It's like smart is like what was the first one? Smart is,
Oh,
or the
I think
S
we
is
lost him.
there's something.
You
Dude,
there?
you're gonna make me look
What's
it up
going
right
on? You
now. I
got
gotta
any
look it
smart
up
goals that you want to
to be
touch on real quick
specific.
until Wilhelm can reconnect?
What the SMART
I
goal
don't have a smart goal, but I would like to close it out.
acronym.
You would like to? Oh, you cut out there, Will.
Okay, you got me? You here?
Yep, yep.
Okay, so the SMART acronym is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Okay,
Okay.
so specifically, I'd like to acquire land.
Yes.
This can be, but the acquiring of land can happen in many ways. It could happen financially, it can happen through inheritance, it can happen through a whole number of situations. But specifically, land with
Okay.
an outbuilding and ideally electricity and or the ability to have a well or dig a well.
That is
Measurable.
specific.
Yeah, I can probably go for several more pages about the specifics. But for brevity, I'll move on to measurable. And
All
measurable,
right.
whatever measurable means, like measurable, probably 2 acres to 5 acres, somewhere out in the country, somewhere within 50 miles of where I work and within driving distance and with relative ease to other places, but also out of the city, far enough out of the city, but also within city reaches, but more so in the country. Also, like surrounded by trees and a long gravel driveway going up to it.
So
Achievable.
I think I think
Yeah.
those would be more specifics. I think measurable.
Yeah. I'm still,
I think measurable is more of the sense of like, can you measure your progress to that goal?
oh, I
Like,
see.
is it
Okay.
measurable? Is it
Okay.
measurable in the sense of like, if 5 acres, let's say, costs $15,000, that's the measurement that it would take for you to attain that goal. I that would be my guess. I mean, I'm an
Yeah,
idiot. I don't know,
I
but
always struggled with the measurable thing. Like, what is like measuring? Like, are we measuring things, or is it measurable within the specifics of it? Is that what you're saying? Or
yeah, I just took a wild guess of what how to measure that would be like. Um, a way to measure that would be like, okay, so I need $15,000.
Hmm,
I know that if I, and then like it goes to the T, like the time, right?
right? Yeah, yeah,
It would be like, okay, so I need $15,000. My time is 1 year. So that means that I have to put away $1,000 every month. And then that way
right.
you're measuring your progress on the way to that ultimate goal. That's just how I see it. I mean, I might be completely wrong, but
No, I think that's a good way to look at it. That's a good way to look at it. So measurable. I can measure it in terms of uh, in many ways.
cost. Yeah.
Law or what was that? Law
I said in cost.
cost. Yeah, measurable and cost. Yeah, somewhere like maybe in the I mean, obviously the cheaper the better, but like shoot, man, anywhere from like 50 grand up to like $400,000. I think that'd be measurable. I think that's
Okay.
measuring it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Achievable. I think it's achievable. I think it's achievable.
Okay.
I definitely, I definitely, I've definitely been diligent with the finances. You know, Um,
Yeah.
Relevance. That's a key one. I think it's really relevant. I think it's really relevant to these times.
Okay.
Mainly like not to really get all political, but just like this whole like all this stuff I just keep hearing about inflation, and I'm not sure like how realistic it is, and like
Yeah.
just and like if it's something that like in 10 years is like all like is a lot of our wealth going to be inflated away, like I do ask
Yeah.
myself these questions, so I think it is a really relevant thing. I think it's relevant
Absolutely.
in terms of like society and like culture and like where that's all going, and like are the cities wastelands that are going
Yeah.
to be like devoid of systematic structure.
Yeah.
Does it make more relevant sense to like be growing my own food and try to be and attempt to be as off grid as possible, and like have my own water supply, have my own electricity supply? So yeah, I think it is relevant. And
Okay.
time bound. Honestly, time bound. I would like this to happen within the next year. Quite honestly,
Okay.
uh, in the next year. I think it's
All right.
yeah, that at least I'll just leave it at that there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I I think that's a beautiful, smart goal to have. And I wish you nothing but the best of luck. I mean, I know we're gonna keep in touch. We haven't
Yeah,
talked since high school. I mean, we talked kind of caught up a little bit over the last couple weeks and everything, but we
yeah,
should I
yeah.
definitely want to make more of an effort to stay in touch with you and
Dude, yeah,
talk
and
with you
actually,
and connect with
yeah,
you and
I might be going out to Maine in September, and I'd love to stop by.
yeah. Yeah, man, absolutely. You're more than welcome.
Right on. I'll keep you posted on that. And also
Sweet.
too, if and when, more so when I get this land, if you want to come enjoy a summer shandy with me.
Yeah, I'll bring some Narragansett.
Oh yeah.
I'll
All
drink
right.
a line of Kugels if you drink a
Oh,
Narragansett.
okay. Yeah, absolutely. Say less, man. Say less.
I don't not like line and
I,
Kugels.
I'm
That's
teasing, man.
good,
I'm
but
teasing. I was
no.
hoping that I couldn't remember the name of what you said, so I was hoping you would just say it and bring it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll bring it. I'll bring it. I got you. Um, but all right, Zay, you said you wanted to wrap this up.
Yeah. Everybody got everything out. Is there anything we need to add on?
I mean,
Anything like that?
like Will said earlier, um, we could probably go on for hours and hours and hours about spiritual warfare and all the different areas that is being affected by it. But yeah, I mean, I think that this was a good conversation to kind of kick off the podcast, and I like where it's at now.
Okay. Yeah, I like where it's at too. Well, if that's all that need to be said, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, man.
Thank you everybody for tuning in. Well, who is going to tune in the future because it's going to be up. Uh, and I'd like to leave off with this little scripture slash quote right here. Uh, Matthew 6, verse 25 through 34. Therefore, I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear. It is not more than food, and the body more than clothes. Basically saying don't worry, but the way I like to sum it up is when in doubt, pray, and then go chill the hell out.
Amen.
Dude. And grab a line and Google summer shandy.
Yeah, we're in there against it. Or you can just go with the old trusty Miller High Life.
There,
That's
no,
my
dude.
go-to.
I guess. No, that's a
That's
good
that's
one, man.
that's my go-to any day of the week, any time of the year. It's Miller High Life.
Cheers,
So,
man.
but
I like that
all
Z.
right,
I like
y'all.
that Z, man. Yeah, thanks for hanging out,
That's
y'all.
that was
Yeah, nice
beautiful.
meeting you.
It was nice conversation. But good night and God bless.
God bless. Chill the hell out.